All right, folks, we are about to start again. So couple notes. One is, let me actually copy and paste this. So those who are joining us for the very first time today, I am sorry, I'm like managing, please forgive me. I am managing the Zoom room, the music, and this the little chat room at the same time. But I wanted to bring your attention to the group chat. The group chat is a reminder that we are using kind of like a movie theater model. So this is your first time with us right now. What we have here is a link to the website. And when you go to the website, we have a program for today. When you get to the site, click on concurrent session B, which would lead you to the next portion of our program. Here we have 4 rooms, and the 4 rooms will have different organizations speaking. Each organization has about 20 minutes to share their story, what they're doing, and also Q&A. These are organizations through our network where we have found and we're inspired by their work. Now, do you know other organizations that we don't know? So you make sure you tell us, because part of the networking piece is leveraging on your expertise and your wisdom to guide us to know who do we need to know so we can build this amazing community. So once again, use that link, copy and paste it, bookmark that link in the group chat, and go to the program site and take a quick look. We'll give you a little bit of time to take a quick look of what organization you want to learn more of, right? So UCA, right? It's a United Chinese Association, I believe. I apologize, I messed that one up. Ren, what's the organization name again?
UCA Illinois. That's how we call it. The full name should be United Chinese Americans Illinois Chapter, but normally we just call it UCA Illinois Chapter or something.
Awesome. So there you go, right? And so I am still learning a lot of these organizations. These are organizations that are doing amazing work for the API communities. There are some organizations will have a little bit longer time because they're nationwide organizations. So they have a little bit longer time because they're going to be sharing different experience from different chapters. This is a time for you, for our leaders to kind of like, I would like to see what other groups are doing, how they're doing it. And so we can learn from each other. And also to set up the foundation for us to network later on. So we got that piece. What else is there that you need to know? Once again, reminder, we encourage a lot of question asking, community building, that's there for you all. And let me see here, as a reminder to folks, you can jump around from room to room, so that's one. Save the link, and you can use the chat window to leave comments or ask questions. We also ask you to be respectful. Moderators have the ability to remove people if you don't align with our idea of what community building is, right? Which is supportive, uplifting. If you just feeling that today's your Saturday and you're like, I want to be hateful and cynical, and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't care about the world, consider getting therapy, but also consider this might not be the place for you today. All right, so we are about loving, supportive, community care, mutual aid, sharing our resources. Now, with that said, I am making sure that I add the right people to this. Ren, who else is on your team? I'm not seeing anybody else, is that right?
Yeah, sorry, I run solo today.
Okay, no worries, because I thought I saw another UCA person, so I thought.
Yeah, we have probably another, I don't know who else is on the line. I think we have national UCA, so maybe, yeah, other either youth or either, I don't know, whoever are here, but
okay,
here too.
I want to make sure I'm just not missing folks. And so for those who are presenting, just so everybody, make sure you change your name so you have your first name and then your organization name. That actually helps us out figure out who we need to spotlight or make co-hosts. Now, with that said, it is my honor to introduce Ren Lee from UCA Illinois. Are you based in Chicago or which part of Illinois?
Yes, I'm in Chicago.
I love Chicago. I've been there and I love the work you're doing, especially because, fun fact, you don't know, Chicago, Illinois, Chinatown is continuously growing, but it's so small, right? And
yeah, I'm very proud.
That speaks a lot to.
Very proud, yes.
Yes, perseverance, resiliency, and growth and strength. So
great news from that part, since you mentioned, I think everybody wants to hear that. So I think a lot of people are trying to build a district just for our Chinatown, just for our Chinese Americans. So that will be the history in Illinois, that we have our own Chinese district. So is that, but haven't really approved yet, but it's working out almost there, I heard. So that's very excited. Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm glad you're all doing that. Okay. But this is not an Anthony and UCA conversation. This is about your time. So Ren, I am going to hand this off to you now. And everyone, please do me a favor in the group chat. Please welcome UCA's Illinois chapter, Ren Lee.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. I'm very excited to be here today. And can you guys see my slides?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay.
Did you want to do that presenter mode? Or
I
did you want
think
to
so. Give me a second. I don't know how this one doesn't come that way because all the, there we go. There we go. I'm still learning the Zoom kind of a toolbar, kind of block it. Okay, so what I'm here actually today is to introduce our, this summer, the public service summer intern program. I'm sorry, I hope all the kids can be join me today to do this presentation, but we couldn't make it. But I did post it on the chat box that all the presentation they did in our graduation ceremony. It was amazing. It was amazing to see how actually high schoolers can really, make, a great impact upon the agencies because that we got tons of great feedbacks. I will share the little detail with you moving on. So this is a little about me. So I'm the president of United Chinese American Illinois chapter. So, and if you don't know, in case, so United Chinese American is a national organizations that we work with a lot, probably a lot part of you because we're all API community. And I will share a little more about our organization's NAS. So that's our program. So the mission of our program, actually, the summer intern program will provide the students internship opportunity in elected officials' office or government agencies, and whether they are local, city, county, state, or federal levels to inspire our students' interest in government and public services, to build a pipeline of Asian Americans in public office, and to build strong coalitions with participation agencies, offices, and organizations. So this is our second year. And it's all started from, 2 years ago when we were told CLUSA was sponsored a grant, for the internship. At that time, we were very, very, excited, and we feel this is a great opportunity for our, community kids, because normally we are good in many areas. But sometimes we didn't think we're, good enough, or we know more about it, and or we kind of doubted, do we have the devoted heart for the government, for the public service? But yes, we do. So we heard this opportunity, and we got it run, and it was very successful. And then last year, due to pandemic, so we didn't make it. And then this year, we think even though we're still in the pandemic, still in the remote kind of way, but we want to continue. So we made it. Hold on, give me a second. That's okay. I think so in case you wondered, UC Illinois is the first chapter of United Chinese Americans, and we are here to promote a lot of youth development, civic engagement, and the services to the Asian Americans here in the Illinois chapter, in the Illinois and big Chicago area. I think the good thing is I feel proud is we're kind of new. We are only a 4-year-old organization, but I feel we, like our name stands for, I think we're kind of build a platform that we united all the so many different kind of organizations together. As you can see the logos here. So the CAAGC, they are one of the biggest, Chinese organizations here in Chicago for many, many years. And there are some local, Chinese schools, and even the 4-H, we kind of combine all the efforts together. How can I move to the next slides? There we go. So If you want me to share, I got a lot, but I would like to highlight. I don't know how many of you today actually are presenting your intern program. Originally, I saw this is a place for introduce the summer intern program altogether. But sounds like some really cool students kind of project was presented when I joined in. So it's kind of not, but I would like to highlight of our programs a little bit of this year's compared to the other years, and also some challenges. And then I will show a little off, showcase our ceremony we did it this year, so you can see actually what we did. So the first thing I'm very proud this year's program is organization collaborations and community partners. This is the biggest one, we ever, kind of work with, like I said, Hualien Hui, and also work with, a lot of community partners was for this program to run. So this is not just run by UCA Illinois. This is not just with the support of a national UCA as well. So we make this all, successful. And of course, thank you for Qing Bai from the CL USA. I don't know exactly the new name, sorry dear, but I think, with all the support, we make it happen. It's wonderful experience. And then the second one I'm very, very proud is we got approval, for high school students in the intern program. In case you wonder, what does that make you so proud? Because most of the time, the government, when they say summer intern program, they say, okay, we do have, when you contact them, they say, oh yes, we do have that program. We welcome all the interns. But that when you dig into the detail, actually they mean the intern is for college students only. They think, they have a program or whatever you think they're easy to do, and high schoolers, because they are minors and they don't have the experience to work with minors, or they're scared of a lot of details. So normally they would say no. So this year I want to say, okay, please do not say no to us, because, upon my experience, college students this year, especially during pandemic, are very easy to find intern jobs, no matter in the government or in the industry field. But it's our high schoolers who kind of, is really eager to find all the intern, opportunities. And also, I also persuade them, it's the high schoolers. I think it has a great potential. If you do want to actually share about working with the government, is about what? And how the civic engagement is so important, and how the community outreach program is so important to your agency, it is a time. So this is a exciting part, and we go through a long time, even though at that time was kind of, this is one thing I want to talk with any organization, or organizer. If you are a community organizer like me, kind of struggle a lot while we kind of process some program, just keep it going, because it will make it if you try harder enough. That's what I feel. But, thank everything. So we did got, 7 of us are high school students, 1 are college kids into this summer program. So that was a highlight of this year's program. And then the second one is CMS is what they call the central management, I think, support. It's more like a government agency who runs support to all the Illinois central, I think, government agencies. I don't know how exactly it works, but they are the support system to all the other departments and agencies among the Illinois chapter. So I got to able to work with one of their specialists, HR specialists, and she was very helpful. And through the way, how I persuade her, how I introduce our program, and she was very excited. And she said, you know what, Ren, we are actually running a kind of training or panelist session. We want to recruit more Asian Americans as our employee as one of our goals this year. And it's so hard. It is so hard. And so we would like to invite you as one of the panelists, with all the HR specialists among the Illinois government, and to share, what is your vision and how we can reach it out. So it was a great great experience. And also I think it's kind of open the door for us as well as community programs. So they now know, kind of how through the heritage events, culture events, through the working with us, there is a possibility we could do much better. I think they really welcome me, and some Indian, some different ethnic groups as well. But I do feel kind of proud as one of the voices from the Chinese American community partners, in that they did actually heard our concerns, our desires, and our willingness to partner with them. So and also a good news is from our intern program, normally, working with teens are really difficult. So some of the things, if you are here as an audience, so forgive me to say that, I feel, it is sometimes really hard, probably because we're old or the age gap, whatever, but somebody like Anthony is definitely needed. I have seen his amazing, kind of a training session working with youth, but sometimes we are not. So I feel it's hard, but this year successfully run, I think kids got connected with me and with the organization. Some even after our intern program serves the UCA WAVE program. It's a national program that we specially designed for youth mental health initiatives. And another intern actually start to volunteer within UCA Illinois Treasure department, so help me out. So that was amazing. And also one of the agencies, actually the Cook County Treasurer Office, they even send us more recruitment. Do you have more interns for me during the school year? And I have to say sorry, and I couldn't make it. I did send out, but we couldn't make it because kids are back to school. But from all this thing, I think I was really, really encouraged, because I feel, oh my, yeah, the kids can definitely engage, and this is a great way to influence them. So, and also this summer, I think it's great, and also by the UCA, they run the university for the summer. So I heard so many good things about it. Originally, people are thinking, oh my, one more week training, and you say it's mandatory. So some of the kids are hesitated, but I heard so many wonderful feedbacks, testimonies from parents, from students, how that training session is, in how they actually found out I'm not alone as an Asian Americans to fight for my identity. I'm not alone, that I felt something special about me. I'm not alone, I am different, so kind of labeling some things like that. So it's a great one. And also I think they inspired a lot about the civic engagement of all the students. I was lucky to participate the capstone presentation at the end. I can share with you tears in my eyes, because when I heard the kids mention how actually nowadays she finally understand her mom's struggle as a first generation of immigrants, and lots of things grow from them. I think it touches me as a mom, as a first generation immigrants, lots of things. But anyway, I appreciate any kind of CLUSA works, and any kind of works that's showcased today. I know there are 4 rooms I heard, but I just personally encouraged by all of the efforts to see that I think Asian Americans on fire, kind of we are inspired our kids in so many different ways. But anyway, that's away from my program. It's just like my personal kind of feeling for this kind of events, and for all the projects we are doing. I feel that's so needed. That's so needed. From the generation of mine, so who are here. So I hope we can continue, even though it's hard, but I hope we can continue. And for the younger generation, I hope you are more open and more active. You got to do much better than our generation. That's my goal, and I think that's our goal. So, and then I think mainly in the next part, after I share some difficult part, and I will share with you the ceremony Originally we were thinking, oh, this year because of pandemic, the ceremony may not be as great as our first year, because the first year was happening in a Lakeview kind of hall room, and it was really great, and lots of officials was coming, students, families. But this year, since it's Zoom, but actually it's great, so I will share with you a little later. So the challenge of this year, I have to be honest, and everything is successful, but doesn't mean it's not challenge. It doesn't mean there is not something we can pick up from here. So I would like to just share with you sincerely what, as an organizer, what I was facing, how difficult it could be to share with my peer, organizers, and also to share with the students who are here today. I hope, this kind of open discussion and communication can help make us, even better for the future. So the first thing, of course, no face-to-face meeting due to the COVID. It's make not only internally when we run the program difficult, and I think also for our students, interns who work with the agencies, a little difficult. And also some of the students feel, I think it's different. If I go to the office and work with them, I feel it's more efficient. But this way, and I think still some, even the government agency staff, they are trying to figure out what is best way, even though after a year and a half, believe me or not. So lots of difficulty because of that. And also another thing is need a student leader. This is part I've been struggle. So for our chapter, and sometimes it's hard to find the students who can help me and inspire whole community. This year we do find one at the end of our program, but I probably want to build more strong kind of program at beginning if we do continue next couple years. So found that leader at the beginning, and then that leader can help me to run the program, because I think they have better connection with the kids other than me. So, and also I want to encourage all the students, if you do have the heart, don't worry about you will be a great leader or not. So to me, a great leader is a heart to serve. Once you have that heart, you're good to go. Okay. So trust me, please remember that. Don't ever think you're not good enough. Once you have the heart, you are the best one. And then I felt I also need a kind of full-time, or at least a part, at that time range, a full-time admin for helping me, because we are all a kind of a volunteer run, organization. So I basically volunteered to run this program, and it is like a full-time. So it is really hard for me to run that. I talked with Chin a lot, and she gave me a lot of support, but I still feel this is kind of really hard to run on a volunteer base, and especially me with a lot of roles on my shoulder. So that's another part I struggle. So I probably next year, if I do run, I probably want to get the covered by at least that time of I have a full-time admin, especially just for this program, because I think this program is so impactful. I don't want to miss the how we can make it better. And though another one is need more training. There is a sad story I have to share, to be honest. One of student actually was after our program, I heard one of the organizations still need volunteers, so I trying to recruit the extra two. And one of them actually, when he worked on site, and he played with his phone all the time, like a normal teenager will do, I guess. And then when the agencies talk with him, and he kind of complained, I don't want to be here anyway. So my mom pushed me to be here. I felt so embarrassed, to be honest. And I feel so sad that our kids sometimes, do in that moment. So I feel bad on my side too. I feel if I could give that kid more training and let him understand the role and understand, why we're there. So for the general group, I did give them training. I told them, you are not on site in the agency as just you. So you are representing yourself, you are representing your family, you are representing actually the Asian American family, the community. You probably didn't realize it. It's me volunteer to work or intern, has some, side funds to work in a agencies. So what? But guess what? How you behave, how well you do. Is not the honor is with the Asian American community. Oh, Asian kids are so good. I'd love to have them. Oh, this is wonderful. This is a perfect match. But sometimes it's oh my, Asian kids are like that. They won't see, okay, that kid is like that. They will say, wow. So think about that. Okay, we always representing, where you coming from. So that's something I want to, kind of emphasize here. But again, I feel bad, for the actual students, we couldn't give more training. And I feel sometimes that's a part, working with teens, sometimes we think they are mature enough, or even I think college kids. The first year when we run this, some of the college kids have a similar problem too. I think that's maybe parts of, I don't know, maybe parts of our community culture background, because parents pushing so much. So lots of things we do for parents, not for ourselves. So I hope that's a lesson we learn for the organizer and also for the kids. When you do something for your passion, if it's not your passion, that's okay. Don't accept it. You got to be prepared. And that's something you want to do. Okay. So, and also another thing is we definitely need to start early, like I said, because we actually kind of decided late, and then also working with the agency this year due to the COVID, so slow, everybody worked remotely, so slow. And then we figured out they all want to college kids, don't want high school kids. So that was almost like 2 or 3 months of communication. That was really frustration. That was really hilarious. But anyway, so if I will run next year, I promise I will start early. So this is the main 5, challenges I feel I have this year, and I'm glad I have a chance to share with you. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach me. So this is a part of the program that we do in the ceremony part. So we do have some special guests coming, and we do give the certificates to the agencies, or the agencies we participate, they come, and and lots of them do a kind of a speech for us as well. And then we have the partnership appreciation, even the parents come to do a testimony.
I do want to let you know we are over the time boundaries. If people are interested in learning more about you and your program, can they connect with you directly?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, and then we do the presentation. And so these are the special guests, and these are certification we gave to the community agencies, and these are the different agencies that they come and speak. They love our program, lots of great feedbacks. And then our kids, our community members, and then our kids, each one of them got the certificates, and they have their presentation. And before I start mine, so I do put all the YouTube videos for the part that they do. Some are amazing. I hope you enjoy it in case you wonder. So I hope you enjoy it. They did show what they did during the work and what they learned from this summer program. I hope it could be inspiring. I hope you guys can learn from each other. And I guess it's a time limit, right? So
yes,
I made it.
Thank you so much. Can you all give a round of applause for Ren, and see how she continues to persevere? As we mentioned earlier, right? UCA Illinois is about strength and perseverance and resiliency. Thank you so much. And by the way, we'll definitely chat more, because when you said student training, guess what I do? I'm the master of student leadership and training. Okay, maybe not. I just self-proclaimed that, but I hope to be that case. Thank you. At this moment, it is with so much excitement, I get to introduce APAPA, and not just one chapter, right? We're talking about the full national group representing all that. So at this moment, please welcome Andrew and Catherine from APAPA. I am making sure that you have, it's Catherine. Yeah, there we go. I'm trying to spotlight you right now. There you go. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, everybody. We are APAPA, and today we're going to be covering 3 things: an overview of our national internship program, Then the heart of our presentation, we're going to cover best practices for internship programs that we realize done on a chapter by chapter level, a distributed organizing, and then also on a national coordinated centralized level. Then we want to showcase one of our success stories, one of our student leaders, Catherine, who has also joined from the Youth Cleveland chapter. Before beginning, we just want to do a big shout out, a big thank you to Civic Leadership Academy, CLUSA, who has been a partner with us from the very beginning. So for close to 2 decades, who have been supporting our internship programs, it's a tremendous honor to be able to present to you today. And as I present, I want to actually just start off with the big idea. So the punchline of the workshop here is, from our experience, one of the most important components of an internship program, especially for Asian Americans, API, Asian Pacific Islanders, is leadership development. And it's because, at least for me, like a lot of Asian Americans don't get to do leadership development. And it's like a muscle, right? And many white kids, they went to Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, they were in their Pee Wee Sports League. I didn't do any of that. I just did Taekwondo. But even that, I don't know how much leadership I was able to practice. So when we do these programs, we want to make sure that we have strong leadership development as a core component. What does that mean? It means we're discussing leadership every single workshop, every single opportunity. We talk about what does leadership mean to you, and for them to understand. Then we put into we actually work on skills, right? Communication skills, planning skills, project management skills. And then we put leadership into practice through capstone projects and case competitions. Of course, they're working at an elected official office, but one thing we find so important is for API community programs to really prioritize and center leadership. And that's why I'm excited at the end to showcase one of our shining stars, future leaders. And then, so on that note, one thing I'm gonna ask for everybody before we conclude is, I would like for you to answer a question. If you have one best practice, one rule, or one recommendation of leadership, what is that for you? What is one rule of leadership for you personally? We'd love for you to write that in the chat. And I'm going to end with why this is so important. If everyone could just do one, and I'm going to ask Catherine if you could kind of copy and paste all of the answers from our guests and participants. So our story really begins in 2000. We're talking about November 2000. California only had 4 API legislators: Mike Honda, George Nakano, Wilma Chan, and Carol Liu. The year later, in 2001, APAPA was formed, and the vision was to help build a pipeline of API leaders in government, in industry, in our local communities. And fast forward 20 years later, now we grew from 4 API legislators to 40 API legislators in California. And we believe this API leadership, not just in government, but in private sector and industry in our local communities, means more API representation, which means stronger communities, which means great ideas, because Asians have great ideas. And if we're gonna see them implemented in industry and government and local communities, we're gonna see transformational change. Our program success, as mentioned, we've been doing this for 17 years with the support of partners like CLA, CLUSA, and we're really excited because we're providing professional exposure and experience in government to hundreds, if not thousands, of young Asian Americans who wouldn't have done so otherwise. Creating a proof of concept that government and public service may be a good path for them. And because my parents wanted me to be a doctor and lawyer, until I got my internship, they didn't believe me. That was the only path that was chosen. But it's also an opportunity to practice, put into practice leadership skills. Remember, leadership skills is like a muscle. You have to put it into practice, and being able to put it into practice ever since you're in high school, college, that's so important. And again, for everybody, we want you to, number one rule for leadership, we want to hear from you. Then, of course, we want to build a pipeline of leaders, starting with government, because there's a huge deficit and underrepresentation in government, but also in corporations, in tech companies, like in nonprofit boards, all locally, nationally, all across the board. And so myself now, I'm actually, as much as I do public service, I'm also in industry. I'm an entrepreneur. did $17 million of real estate investing in just the last 3 years, own 10 different properties. I'm a commercial landlord, over 20 tenants, currently building 100 townhomes and condos in downtown Sac. But my background actually was in government. I was a senior US congressional staffer for over almost 10 years. I was campaign manager for US Senate, US Congress, statewide. I've managed over 100,000 volunteers, over 10 million voters I've reached through my programs. And my most exciting is I've been able to work with over 3,000 interns. But this all happened because there was proof of concept with my first student leadership project, because my parents did not care. When I was in high school, they did not care about any of this. They're like, you're gonna be a doctor, right? That's all they knew. You're gonna be a doctor or you're gonna be a lawyer. But in 2008, I did my first APAPA student leadership project, and that changed the course of history. 2009, I was paid regional field director for a congressman. 2010, I decided to go to AmeriCorps Vista, volunteer in service to America, the Obama campaign, and last year I won a national award from the American Association of Political Consultants. But it really happened because I was able to get proof of concept and prove to my parents that doing government, politics, public service is rewarding, meaningful, and can have a very, exciting professional career. Our model of our internship program is based upon distributed leadership and strategic partnership. So first of all, we have the most important partnership that's happening is going to be with these elected official offices, similar to the program that you've heard right before us, right? We're placing interns on federal, state, local offices, but these internship placements, they are completely facilitated by local leaders. So APAPA nationally has now over 35 chapters, and each of these chapters, their leadership is what makes our internship program possible. And so we are so honored and just completely amazed constantly by the sophistication, by the commitment of our local chapter leaders who have the local relationships with the elected officials, provide the local mentorship, provide programming support, and building a pipeline of these young people locally in 35 different cities and regions. And that's how our APAPA chapter works. However, during the pandemic, we also realized that there is value of centralization. And so we also launched our virtual internship program. And our virtual internship program is great because it gives us an opportunity to do a programming in fall and winter when we're not placing interns in elected official offices. We're now placing interns with nonprofits, starting with our own chapter, interns supporting our national organization, our HQ, supporting our local chapters, and also supporting our community partners. As mentioned, now we are year round. So before we were just summer and then some spring, but now we have a virtual internship program, fall, virtual nationwide during winter. And then in spring, we have a capital internship in Sacramento. And then summer is for all of our other chapters, our 35 chapters who are doing their placements, again, nationwide. So now to the heart of today's presentation, which is our strategies, our best practices. And I'm going to be quick about it. It's 7 best practices that we believe have really made our programs unique and a lot of great feedback. So the first, for any internship program, we realized the most important thing we could do, and this is after working with over 3,000 interns, the most important thing that we can do is recruit the best students. And to recruit the best students, you need to provide a high value product for the interns, right? So they need to know that this is high value. And so what's high value to students? We learned that it's professional development. It's not even about politics or government. They're like, okay, cool. But what is this going to do for my professional development? So having a strong professional development component, right? So for us, we have a post-graduation employment planning. We have, helping people develop their financial plan, business plan, 2-year plan, 4-year plan. Then we have them all develop a database of like the 30 employers that are going to apply to 3 different cover letters and applications, and be able to work through kind of their goals to improve their decision-making process. So by the end of the internship program, they've already written their post-graduation employment plan or grad school plan. They've already now built a database where they're going to apply, and they've taken action. And us helping facilitate that for these young people, even if their office experience is terrible, or even if any of their other experience are terrible, they know inherently, intrinsically, that there is professional development value for them, and they usually stick on to the very end. So the second best practice is, again, prioritizing leadership development. And again, I'd love to hear, what's your number one rule for leadership? But for us, that's discussing it. We don't discuss leadership in traditional, education. We don't talk about it enough, like as a subject matter that requires further discovery and understanding. So talking about discussing it, putting into practice leadership skills. The 3 skills we found most valuable, the students also found most valuable, is project management, communications, and strategic planning, and then putting into practice through capstone projects and case competitions. The next 2 is really based upon making sure that our interns is high value to the community, high value to the office, right? So the first was high value experience for the interns. Now it's high value for the office and community. And it was said before, the importance of boot camps and training, so that because they're going to represent you. So you want your program, your boot camp, your workshops to really be top notch, so that everybody is going off the same script. So the talking points script, so that they're a good ambassador, representative, having weekly trainings. We have regular performance reviews and one-on-one check-ins with all of our interns to make sure that they're doing well. And then making sure that the interns are broken up into teams. So we call them action committees. And having 5 interns in each action committee is great, because that's how you create a high performance culture, because now these teams are competing against each other, and it creates a sense of competition, but also creates a sense of camaraderie. So next is best practice is capstone projects. I mentioned that a couple times, and that's why today's CLA project showcase is so meaningful. It checks so many of our boxes. And if you do capstone projects that have high value to the community, for example, voter registration, we just did a 6-month capstone on voter registration. We registered 100 students per month, and so that was a meaningful project, a project for a community sponsor, a partner, or one of your local chapters, or a product that can be timeless, like content. So this is a case competition we did this last year, and it was our interns wrote grant proposals for the California Air Resource Board, for environmental justice organizations who needed the bandwidth. And so we ghostwrited 6 different grant proposals, and we think that that product is very high value, and our partners loved it. And the interns being able to say that I was part of a grant writing team, that is professional development, right? And leadership development in a sense. Value add for the internal organization. And that's one of our 2022 strategic imperatives, is like, okay, the intern, we're investing a lot of time, energy, high value experience for interns. The interns are providing high value to the community and to the elected official office, but are they bringing value add to our organization and to our chapter? That has been unclear. So 2022, that's going to be a big imperative, making sure that our internship program is helping build capacity, PR capacity, political capital capacity, financial capacity for our national HQ organization, supporting our national priorities. Then secondly, helping our chapters. And so that's another thing that we want to do, like adopt a chapter where all of the interns are assigned to one of our local chapters, or we're working on projects, research project, content project, outreach projects, grant proposals. And then lastly, working on priorities that advance our core mission as an organization. So if your internship program, in addition to them getting great experience in the government, but they are doing activities that fundamentally advance your organization's mission on a metric-driven basis, on high-value objectives, that is a very strategic internship program. And so, for example, this last 6 months, we focused, what are the highest value objectives that if we were to track month by month, year by year, right, on a longitudinal standpoint, and then how, if we created KPIs, key performance indicators, and metric-driven results to ensure accountability, what would these be? So number 1 was voter registration. Every intern needs to register 10 students. Boom, in 6 months, we have 600 students registered. It was insane. Like, it happened naturally, just because we prioritized a high value objective that every intern needed to participate. Social media. Our interns have boosted our social media capability. Reaching out to elected officials. We reached out to 4,000 elected officials to sign resolution condemning anti-Asian hate. We got 200 elected officials say yes to an intern email, right? And so like we prioritized it. We said, this is a high value objective that we care about. And then we tracked it, and our interns, month after month, program was able to achieve very exciting results. As mentioned in 2022, we have a strategy of making sure, how can some of these KPIs be not only beneficial for the community, beneficial for the elected official office, but how can it also be beneficial for our sponsor organization? And so that's why we're doing something called the 4CX strategy, which is centralization, coordination, capacity building, and capture rate, making sure that we're spending so much time, energy, effort on interns. Are we able to capture the ROI value? What percent of capture rate are we getting? So that is what we're covering. So with that, that concludes my presentation. I'm so excited to introduce Catherine, our rising star from the Cleveland youth chapter. So with that, Catherine.
Hello, everybody. My name is Catherine Xiao, and I am the president of APAPA Youth Cleveland chapter. So today I will be talking about a project I did back in 2020 to increase the API voter turnout in the 2020 presidential election. Oh, am I controlling the slides or? Okay, thank you. So why our project is important. So voter turnout among the API population has always been pretty low at around 50%. And well, we are citizens of America, and we deserve better representation in government, because without this proper representation, our communities are often pushed to the side and used as a scapegoat because those in power won't fear retaliation. A great example of this was, our past president, Trump. His rhetoric of calling COVID the Kung flu and the Chinese virus, it kind of encouraged his supporters to go out and, be racist against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. So he treated us as a scapegoat for COVID, and because of that, anti-Asian hate crimes increased 149% in 2020. And, as a Chinese American growing up here, I had personal experiences with that. I started carrying pepper spray when I was going outside, and I was nervous for my parents whenever they went outside. I was worried that maybe something would happen, maybe they would get attacked. So by getting more representation, we will show them that, they can't ignore us, they can't treat us like this, and that they have to acknowledge us and do better. And this is included in the government. So as of now, we don't have very many API government officials, politicians. And, we need to do that if we want to push for better bills. With Biden, there have been anti-Asian hate crime bills passed, but if you look into them, they're pretty shallow. They don't really address the root cause. All of them include more like policing and security and penalizing people who instigate these hate crimes. But that's not how we can stop these. If we want to stop these issues, we have to address the root cause. We have to fight for better education to prevent these issues. By educating our youth on, the history of Asian American and Pacific Islanders in America, we build up more tolerance, more acceptance. In my couple years at high school, we rarely ever talked about our history. In my AP US history class, there was one sentence on the Chinese immigrant law, and that was about it. We never went into it at all. I don't even think we mentioned it in the class. It was just a sentence in our textbook. And we need to push for better bills to, encourage this kind of education in the classroom. So that way people are educated and they know, that we belong here, we fought to be here, and that they need to listen to us. And then by doing this, we can build a better future for our future generations, make America a better place where future generations won't have to worry about these issues, and they can, pursue their passions without having to stress over, whether they'll be seen as an outsider the way that I used to when I was younger. Next slide, please. Okay, so my project objective that I did back in October 2020 So, my objective, our goal was to increase the API voter turnout in my area. And in order to do so, I created flyers with information on voting, and I distributed those around the Cleveland Asiatown area to reach out to the API population. And so I made a couple hundred flyers and I distributed them to around, I think, 10 stores in the area. And after the election, when I went to pick them up, almost all of the flyers were taken. There were only a few flyers that were still left behind, meaning that, people took them and they took the information and they used it. And also, this was part of a greater project that I did, which included, phone banking and all that. And we had a voter hotline for, especially for the API community in case they had any questions. And we got over 3,000 calls to that voter hotline. And then, so as you can see, these were the posters, the flyers that I made. So I have the front are the left two are the front of the poster, and then the one on the right is the back. So I had these posters in English, Chinese, and Korean. And so as you can see, there's information about what kind of ID is acceptable, what kind of ID you can bring to the election, and the important dates for the election. Because obviously, if you don't know when the election is, you can't really, go vote. You have to know when it is. You have to be able to stay on top of things. And then I also had some resources for further details. So, the links, the first two links were just links that I got from the website. And the next couple I shortened to make it easier to access for people. And then, as you know, this election happened during like the height of COVID. So we had just a short list of COVID precautions because we wanted to make sure everyone stayed safe. And then on the Korean one, in English, it's basically just like saying like you need to go vote. If you want to make a difference, you have to be able to go and vote. So that way our voice is heard. And at the bottom, it's a website specifically for the API population about voting. And then there's the voter hotline that I talked about. And at the end of the election, the total votes from the API community jumped around 47% from the 2016 general election, which, obviously not just because of my efforts, but it was, all across the United States, a collective effort from the API community, and I'm so proud that we were able to come together and achieve those results. Okay, so just a real quick introduction of our project team. So me, Catherine Xiao, I was the project leader. I am currently a senior at Westlake High School, and like I mentioned before, I'm the president of APAPA Youth Cleveland chapter. So I was the one who designed the flyers, and I designed them in origin in English, and I also translated them to Chinese, and I was the one who went and distributed the flyers. Yehan Choi, who unfortunately could not be here today, he's a junior at Westlake High School, and he helped with the Korean translation of the flyers, and he also, he was like involved in the process of making the flyers. He gave suggestions on how to like make them better, make them more organized. And then Yumin, he's the APAPA Ohio president, and he also helped with the finalization of the flyers. He has a lot more experience in this field than like I do as a high school student, and he gave a lot of tips on like how to properly, have the information shown on there. And then Xiaoli Chen, she's my mom, so she's the one. She also helped me with the Chinese translation, and she provided transportation because I still can't drive yet, believe it or not. And yeah, she was a huge help too. And then so looking towards the future and what you can do to, keep these stats up and keep our participation up. So, get involved in your community. Get involved, reach out to people because we as a whole, we can make a difference. So, while this may seem small, talking to family and friends about the importance of voting can help a lot. I before the general election, I sat down with my parents and I talked to them about how important it is to vote and why it's important to get our voice heard. And originally, they weren't really sure if they were going to vote, but after, our conversation, they went out and they voted. So by talking to the people around you, maybe you can encourage them. You can boost them from being like unsure, maybe I should go vote, maybe not, to, convincing them to go vote. And then also, it's important to stay informed on when the elections are, and you need to share this information with others because, obviously, if you don't know when the elections are, you can't go out and vote. So by staying on top of this information, you'll be able to know when you can go out and make a difference. And by sharing this with others, others will also be informed of this and they can also go vote. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope I inspired you to, get involved. You go out and make a difference. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Really appreciate it. On behalf of the APAPA HQ, APAPA internship team. With that, we're gonna do one final slide, and then we're gonna close up with some questions. Very moved, as Catherine said, your vote is your voice, and we believe leadership starts with your voice being heard. And for many, many Asian Americans, their voice, the idea of their voice being heard in the classroom, their voice being heard in the public space, that is something that they haven't practiced. That's something that they're not comfortable with. Even in our own chat, we may not be comfortable with, but it's so important. And that's why I really want to see your chat, at least 3 more answers. What is an important recommendation for leadership? What is the #1 personal rule of leadership for you? And again, and this is an important part of our leadership development, is really putting it on the spot for the students, forcing them to voice it out, because that's how it starts until they get really comfortable with their voice. But I'd love to hear from you. What is your top recommendation for leadership? Awesome. Anthony is just going at, oh, thank you, Lynn. Okay. So I think we have a couple questions. So we'll be taking questions until we close up here. So I wanted to start off with the first question before I go to Lynn's question, which is, what is the age limit? And I think this is, it's so great that Catherine was able to present, because what you see is that even in high school, you can make tremendous systemic impact. So we know many of our chapters have the junior intern program, where it starts even before high school, in junior high school, right? Because one of the things, how we see our APAPA program is, the leadership program equivalent to Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, that, wasn't really designed for Asian Americans. So like, the sooner you begin practicing leadership, practicing organizing, practicing communication skills, public speaking, all of the above, we think it's important. So I think the earliest you can start would be great. I think it makes sense for it to be around junior high school for you to begin. But, I think some of our chapter leaders have had some of their students even before then. Thank you, Catherine, for answering the second question. Wanted to open it up to you all. If you have any other questions, either in the chat, or if you'd like to just address the group here, and or if you have a #1 leadership rule that you'd like to share, we'd like to share the floor with you as well. And as we're waiting for any further questions or comments, again, we just wanted to say a big thank you to all of our community partners, for our chapter leaders nationwide, and of course, our student leaders. This would not be possible. Again, our model has been driven on distributed leadership, where community leaders and chapter leaders are volunteering their time nationwide to ensure a high quality program year after year. We could not do it without our leaders from all the way from New York, East Coast, all the way to the West Coast here. And of course, the generous support and ongoing support from Civic Leadership Academy and Civic Leadership USA.
So I'm gonna give people the ability to unmute themselves. So if they want to unmute themselves to ask a question, now is the time to do it. And then also at the same time, Andrew, there are some questions that were already in the group chat. I don't know if you want to take a look at those as well.
So I think Lynn asked, what was the API voting percentage in 2020? I know Catherine mentioned it jumped. Maybe we could do a follow-up on exactly what the baseline points were. So we'll get back to you there, Lynn, and maybe Catherine can message you. I see another one from Julia. How do we deliver the information to the high schoolers? I'll pass that on to you, Catherine.
So my mom was the one who got me involved. I started like going to the meetings in middle school, and that just kind of carried on through high school, and that's because we know the Ohio president. So it's mostly through the word of mouth, and then just you can check out our website and all that. So, yeah.
That was a beautiful answer, Catherine, because it actually speaks to kind of like the ethos and spirit of our APAPA programs, that it's a very family orientated thing. Some of our most successful programs are programs where the student and the mom and dad were all part of it together, not just for 1 year, but for many years, which is not only beneficial for the student because they're going to get a nice letter of recommendation, reference, and could look great for college and beyond. But it's a tremendous impact to the local community because now you're helping cultivate and create a platform where Asian American parents and leaders can support each other and support their kids, but also support community values. So thank you very, very much for both that question and that comment, Catherine.
Okay, so Andrew and Catherine, another question. I'm kind of synthesizing because I've seen this work being done over and over. Who should we contact if we want kids in Silicon Valley to participate in APAPA? A follow-up is, how can other orgs leverage your wisdom expertise? Is there an opportunity for collaboration or leveraging your strengths?
Absolutely. So when it comes to leveraging our strengths, we are very blessed because we have a really strong HQ team, folks who have a lot of experience. Myself, only really focusing on internship. I am the National Internship Chair. I've been doing internship programs for US Congress, for US Senate, statewide. And so I'm really excited to share that resource, not only to all of the APAPA chapters, we have 35 plus nationwide, but to our key partners. And CLA has been such an important partner for APAPA since the very beginning, so for 14 years. And so, I said that wrong, for 17 years. So any organization, association, affiliated with CLA, and you'd like to collaborate or you'd like to, share ideas, share best practices. I mean, I'd like to start off by making this presentation available to some of the folks so that you can just, look at these best practices at your own leisure. And specifically the ones that we found most interesting were the KPIs, like which KPIs we decided to focus on this last 6 months that had the highest return on investment. And so, yes, we look forward to collaborating with you. And in regards to Silicon Valley, so we have a couple different chapters in the Bay Area. So I think it just depends on where in the Bay exactly, and then we'll try to connect with you. So if you want, you could just email me and I will make sure that you get contacted to the right person. Or maybe if you can email Catherine, and if you could put her to the right person to in Silicon Valley chapter, that would be fantastic.
Wonderful. So I'm gonna throw this out there because a lot of people are moving to like a online model. Is there any chance that you may consider recording each of those segment pieces that you are known for, your strengths, put in a video, and maybe other nonprofits can invest in those video series to learn from you?
That's a good. No, I think that's a really good and interesting idea. The thing about videos, like now that we can do Zoom, like it not being live is actually a disservice to the students. And because like you can't do the high level of engagement by just watching a video. With that being said, like we do workshops every week. So every Tuesday we are doing virtual workshops. So if you want to be invited to one of our virtual workshops just to sit in, just to see like how we do our workshops, because like each one of our virtual workshops, we do have like a keynote, but then we do breakout groups, then we have like activities, then we have report back, where every single workshop, the student teams present what they've covered, and that gives them a chance to practice public speaking. Then we also do random breakouts where the people get to practice pitching. That happens every workshop. So like they're practicing, they're not just learning about communication skills, they're practicing it every workshop. And again, like doing that just in a video wouldn't be the same. And so I recommend, you know, if you're doing your own workshops, to like keep it as much live as possible. With that being said, for our kind of content here, I think that's a really good idea, Anthony. So maybe we can talk about what topics are the most interesting, and maybe we could put that in some kind of video format.
Yeah. Okay. So we are hitting the time boundary, and I wanted to do those questions for Andrew and Catherine, because I have been doing this work with CLUSA, with CLA, and I've been asked many times, like, can we do these workshops? Can we go around? Can we have best practices, right? And you know what I believe in? You go and you role model the most successful people. APAPA is successful. They've been doing a great job, right? And so I really encourage you all to hit up APAPA, especially Andrew, Catherine, and be like, we need help, right? Who was here? Who was here in the first part, right? And Ren was saying, oh my God, we need like more trainers. We want to do leadership training, right? But we don't know how, right? Oh my God, your prayers have been answered in part 2 of today. So definitely hit up Andrew, APAPA, Catherine. And so, yes, now I have to be like really strict in time boundary. We kind of messed up a little bit. So first and foremost, before we move on to the next one, thank you, APAPA. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Catherine. Can you all give them a round of applause, like appreciation, do a heart emojis. If you want to do Korean hearts, you can do that as well. Now, the next part, I apologize. Please forgive the team, because we have been bouncing back and forth in terms of technology. The next part, it's a little wonky. My apologies. Please forgive us. What we are going to do next is we are going to start our networking session. However, Zoom doesn't let us do that without restarting this. And that was our goof. So this is what we're going to do. In the group chat, you should see the link to the virtual page, and this is what you're going to do. Click on that link and give us about 2 minutes. We are going to close this room and restart this room, and then that's when we're going to do the breakout rooms and the networking piece. Okay. I also see Lynn's hand raised up. Fortunately, we didn't get time to reach all the questions. Lynn, I encourage you to reach out to Andrew directly, to Catherine directly. So with that said, we're going to close the room for 1 second and restart the room. Okay. Please, please, please come back, because at 12 o'clock, so we're going to have the networking session, and then at 12 o'clock, we are going to jump into our ceremony. Sounds good? See you all in 2 minutes. Let's start networking then. All right. I'm going to end the room, and then please help me restart.